Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I'm the senior minister here at the Oasis, and I always like to introduce the wonderful team that God has provided me. Let me start out with my faithful assistant, Faith, who has basically been my assistant since the day she was born. I like saying that. It's so fun. She's going to be 20 in January. That's a long time. Her dad used to hold her at the soundboard when he was working sound. And then when she got old enough to crawl, she crawled right up on stage like she belonged there. So we left her there. And I would have her come up and I'd set her on the podium whenever we would do announcements, and it was great. And she grew up like 6 blocks from my house, and her dad was a tow truck driver, and he'd do these out-of-town tows, and he'd bring the girls over to my house to hang out with me. And of course, I always had projects, so I put the girls to work every time they came over. I'm not sure your dad even knew that. But anyway, when she was 14 and a half, she was like, I want a real job. And I'd seen her work, so I was like, yeah, come work with me at the ozone business. So she was my assistant there. And then when we went live for these services, I asked her if she would be my ministerial assistant. And as usual, she popped up and said, howdy. And so here she is. So she does all this stuff behind the scenes. When you say, hi, good morning, hello, however you want to greet us, because we like to have you greet us. Since when we're in a facility, I can look out and see the shining faces shining back at me. But with this software, I get a number. I don't even get names. So behind the scenes, when you say hello, good morning, hi, she's the one that answers you. And then I go back later and check to see if there's anything else I need to address. Usually not. I think this only happened twice in 3 years where somebody had a question that didn't get answered. But anyway, and she is our soloist. And today we're going to be doing Use Me by the Agape Choir because we're doing visioning today. Yay!
I love visioning. It's like my favorite topic.
Too. I love visioning Sunday. So thank you, Faith. I love you.
Thank you.
And then there is my partner in crime, the wise and powerful Oz. He was my first baby practitioner, which means he took all of his classwork with me, except for one class that he took at Mile High. But for the most part, all of his training was with me. And then he was my board president for something like 7 years and then moved off to Florida. And so we lost the ability to have him be our practitioner of the day or the service. And so now he's back in Florida. He was in Wisconsin for the summer. He's back in Florida. And of course, when I said, do you want to do the service live? He was like, sure, let's do that. So I couldn't do this without you. So thank you. He is our practitioner of the day. And that means that he does the invocation, the benediction, and is available at the end for our 1 minute miracle. But I'll talk about that in a bit. So we're so happy to have you. Thank you so much. I love you, Oz. All right. And I'm really grateful to have all of you with us today because I know there's 1,000 things you could be doing on a Sunday morning, and we're so blessed that you're here with us. And I always like to introduce the adjunct music team that we have. Tina Giuffre occasionally shows up for special events. Karen Drucker and Reverend Fairy Lane Silver provide music for us so that we can have an actual Sunday service with music. Anytime we try to do contemporary music, either Facebook mutes us or YouTube mutes us. So it's better if we can use their music because they've given their permission. So anyway. All right. Let's see. There's a watch party button. If you would like to invite your friends, this is a great time to do that. That way they can see what kind of Sunday service they can expect to receive, and you can chat amongst yourselves. It's all private, so you're not bothering anybody else, but you can answer any questions that they might have. I think that's it. Yep, it is. Okay. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
The presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
The presence of God is always and everywhere. If God is infinite, if God is all-powerful, God must be right here, right now, wherever and whenever you are and we are. For God is everywhere. God is in each of us and in everything we encounter. It is all God. It is all good. I know that God has a greater vision for each of our lives, for God has an infinite perspective of time and space and possibilities and probabilities. As we allow God to move through our lives in an effortless flow, those lives approach a perfection that God intends. I allow that to happen right now through our service and at all times through each of our lives, knowing that God's presence is uplifting and enfolding us and upholding us and drawing us forward. I give thanks that this is so, and I allow it to be. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. This next song is by Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver, that when she wrote this when she was in practitioner training. And it's a great reminder that we are all connected. It is called We Are All One.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is all there is. Grateful am I to be living, open to what I receive, honoring what I've been given, sharing now what I believe. I remember the oneness around me. I surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. Yes, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it.
Yes, we are all one in it. Say hi, hello, good morning, however you like to greet us. If you're visiting us later, just drop a line and say hi. When we're in a facility, I can look out and I see people looking back at me. We don't have that ability with this software, and I don't even get names. I just get a number. So I appreciate it when you just let me know you've been here or that you are here. That would be awesome. If you like something that you hear, whether that's something I say or Faith sings or Oz prays, use that like button. And if you love something, of course, send us hearts. We just love getting love. And if something strikes you as really powerful, by all means, use that wow button. That feedback really helps me to know when I'm on track, when I'm hitting the mark, as they say. All right. So without further ado, here is Faith singing Use Me.
Thank you. Use me, oh God. I stand before you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God is the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth and the stars and all of creation. God is creator, all in all. He needs us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God. I stand before you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. All that I do is command my hands. What must they do? Command my life. It's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new. And God needs us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God. I stand before you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine His light. God needs us to shine His light. God needs us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God. I stand before you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Isn't it fun to have a choir behind you?
Oh yeah. It's so much fun to be able to like watch her perform and just
Yeah.
feed off of her energy to feed.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. It's good. It's good.
Thank you so much. I love that
Thank you.
song. Excuse me. My goodness. You know, it's funny. Every Sunday when I listen to the Surely the Presence and We Are All One, I get real nostalgic for what it was like to have a choir up on the stage every week. So it's just interesting when we do that song and then there's a choir behind Faith. It just feels so nostalgic. I miss those days. I really do. So today we're going to do visioning. We try to do visioning once a quarter. And normally I would do it the last week of the month. But next week is Halloween, and we want to do a Halloween theme. So I don't want to do visioning next week. So we're going to do it this week instead. And so I want to talk a little bit about, visioning has been a practice for decades in churches. But Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith from the Agape International Center for Peace, I believe it's called, Center of Truth. Anyway, Dr. Beckwith kind of refined the process for us. And he also gives us a little kind of a map to our own spiritual development, so to speak. And he defines there's 4 stages. And the first stage is the to us stage. That's kind of the victim stage because we think that the world does things to us, that God does things to us. And we don't really yet understand how much responsibility we have, but it is an important stage because we have to understand the difference between being the victim and being the victor. And we wouldn't have that. It's almost like, everybody says, oh, it would be so nice if there was no pain in the world. But without pain, you would never appreciate how good it felt to not be in pain, right? So the to us stage is really important. And it really is about thinking that God somehow does something to us, to our lives, right? So the second stage is the to it stage, where we recognize that we can affect a change in the world, that we can utilize the laws for our own purposes to be able to create a better life. And like I said, if you didn't have the to us stage, you couldn't appreciate the to it stage, which is kind of the manipulation stage, but not in a bad way. Manipulation usually is kind of a bad word, but in this case, it's not. In this case, it's understanding that we can use those spiritual laws to be able to affect change, like I said, in your life. For instance, when my beginning classes, I teach them to pray for parking spaces. And I occasionally get the person who says, isn't that a wrong use of God? It's like, no, there isn't a wrong use of God. What it is that practice makes perfect. And so if we practice on something like a parking space, then later on we can develop it into things that are much more important to us. But we have to develop the skill for it. And so that's why we call it the manipulation stage. But you're manipulating the laws, the spiritual laws. Okay. The third step is through us. And it's important for us to go through the to us, the to it stages before we get to the through us stage, so we can finally understand what the difference is when we are manipulating or it is flowing through us, right? Things are happening through us. But we kind of have to get our consciousness into a place where it can operate through us. I talk a lot about the subjective unconscious, the subjective mind, as being a computer that records, like a computer hard drive that records everything that's ever happened in our experience, everything we've experienced and our reactions to that experience. And that houses these beliefs that we formed from that basis, from all of the experiences we've had. So if we have belief systems that are counterproductive to the kind of life we want, then of course the through us stage is going to be more difficult. So in the to it stage, we're learning about those beliefs that are limiting us, that are keeping us from the life we want to have, so that when we get to the through us stage, we can allow God to work through us and create that wonderful life that we have always envisioned for ourselves, right? And God can't do anything through us that we are not already, right? If I'm not already love, then God can't create love through us, right? And so that's what we work on. We work on becoming that spiritual principle that allows God to do its work through us so clearly. And then the final stage is as us. And once we've gone through all of these stages, things just start to happen on their own, it seems. We no longer pray for things. We no longer pray for certain people. We no longer, not that we don't do prayer for people, but we don't pray for certain people to come into our lives. We don't pray for a certain amount of money. We don't pray for all of those things because we are living it. It is as us. So things begin to happen in our lives that are just perfect for us without any of our so here's the thing, like, I place my intention. I know what I want. I know what the experience of what I want is. And I place my intention, and then I just walk away and let it happen. And that's the as is stage. So when we're doing visioning, what we're really doing is we're asking what wants to come through us and be as us. We're agents of God's love on the planet, for example. So if we are our love, if we embody that, if we are contemplating that all the time, then God shows up as love as us, if that makes any sense to you. Okay, so I want to talk about the difference between visualization and visioning for a second. Visualization is when I have a goal in mind and I focus my attention on that goal until it manifests. That's been done for a long time. Businessmen, very successful businessmen use it. Sports figures use it. They see themselves crossing the finish line, or they see themselves getting a trophy, or they see themselves, and they visualize that over and over and over again until it becomes reality. That is an active process. Visualization is. Envisioning, it is a more passive thing. Envisioning, we are asking the God within us, what is the perfect picture for us? What is the perfect life for us? Because the truth is, we only see this much. God sees an entirely big picture, and all we need to do is ask for that bigger picture. So when we're doing visioning, that's what we're doing. I was just going to say good morning, Dawn, but I think she left. Okay. Anyway, and so when we're visioning, we are receptive to that power within us and the message that it has for us, that bigger picture message, instead of us focusing on our small little world of what we can see and what we can experience and what we know about. And so visualization, we are actively pursuing something. Visioning, we are asking for information. We're asking for a vision. We're asking that God within us to provide that message. So the other thing that I always like to go over is how we receive the messages. I'm a real firm believer in what's called gift order. Now, I learned that in a psychic development class, but it's so appropriate to all of life, actually. How we get our information is how we deal with the world. And so there are 4 gifts, actually: kinesthetic, audient, intuitive, and visual. Now, I'm very kinesthetic, meaning that I get feelings in my body before I get anything else. I don't know how many of you have ever walked into a meeting, like a business meeting, and you feel the tension in the air. People like me who are kinesthetic feel that tension and think everyone in the room is against us, right? I used to live my life that way, not really understanding what was happening. And so these days I use my other gifts to determine what's actually going on in the room, to decipher what that feeling is. Because like I said, I always thought, somebody was mad at me or something like that. And once I learned that I can't just go by the gut, I have to actually use my other gifts to try and understand the information I'm getting. Once I was able to do that, then I can understand that, that person had a bad day, or they're mad at the speaker who's there, or something else is going on in the room. It has nothing to do with me, and I stopped taking it so personally. But it is important for me to recognize that when I'm walking in the world and assimilating information, it's coming in through my feelings. I'm also a kinesthetic learner. So, for example, if I'm trying to learn how to do something, I have to physically do it in order for that to sink into me, because I'm kinesthetic. Okay. So that's my highest gift order. My second highest gift order is intuitive. In other words, I know what I know, but I don't know how I know it. Right. Have you ever had that experience? I used to think that I had a photographic memory, because these things would pop into my head and I would say them and people would go, "Where did you get that information?" And I kept thinking, well, I must have read it in a magazine at the dentist's office or something, But what's really true is that the intuitive information comes to you without you knowing what the source is. And it's just a knowingness. It's not a word. It's not a feeling. It's not a visual. It's not a sound. You just know that you know that you know. Okay. That's intuitive. My next gift order is visual. And so I don't get many pictures, but what I use my visual for is when I get a feeling, like I said, I look around the room and I get a visual for what's going on, and I start deciphering it based on the intuitiveness, right? Does that make any sense? Okay. So the fourth one, and those are the people who, by the way, who see images, who see pictures. Like when we do visioning, you might get pictures if you're a visual. The last one is audience, and that's a very high one for Faith. We went to the Medical Ozone Without Borders conference in Costa Rica. And for me, audience is such a low gift for me that it is distracting for me to have somebody talking, because my mind goes 100 miles an hour. And poor Faith is trying to listen to this information, and I keep asking questions or making comments because my mind is going blah, 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 the whole time. And Faith is like, shh, I want to listen, because she learns that way. And so for her, sitting in a lecture is really great. For me, it's a horrible thing. But these are the people who will hear sounds or hear a word. They actually audiently hear. So whatever your gift order is, it's perfect for you. And we don't want you to judge it. So you might get a picture, you might get a feeling, you might get words, you might get a sound, you might just know that you know. But honor that, whatever that is, however you receive that information is perfect for you. Visioning is very personal. It is very, it is geared towards your own learning process, if that makes any sense. Because that voice that is within you, or that picture that is within you, or that feeling that is within you, that is God doing the work here, speaks to us in a language we can understand. So that could be a feeling, that could be a word, it could be a sound, it could be a knowingness, right? So honor however that information comes to you. All right. I'm going to ask 3 questions when we get to that process. Right now, I'm just going to go over those questions. The first one is, what is God's vision for my life in this 4th quarter of 2023? And you will get some kind of answer. We're just going to sit in the meditation with that. And then we're going to ask, what must I become in order to be the vessel through which that vision manifests through me? Again, God can't do anything through us that we aren't already. So if I must become love in order to manifest that vision here on earth of love, then that's the answer that's going to come to me in whatever way it's going to come. The third question is, what must I release in order to become that? Because sometimes, like if I want to become love, let's put it that way. Sometimes we've had some experiences in life that have told us that we're less than deserving of love. We need to release that. Perhaps there was a person that we need to release. Perhaps there's a place we need to release. Perhaps there is a money situation we have to release. It's all personal. So you're going to ask yourself, or you're going to ask the God within you, what must I release in order to become that? Okay. And then I'm going to ask you another question. I like to tie up loose ends. So I will ask, what else do I need to know? Some of you may get an answer to that. Some of you may not. It doesn't matter. But I always like to make sure that we've covered all the bases. So first, I'm going to lead us in a brief meditation to get into that state of unconditional love. And so I'd like to just invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. I'd like you to imagine right now that there is this big ball of light in the center of the room that pulsates and throbs according to the Earth's heartbeat in that room with you. You notice that your heartbeat matches the heartbeat of this big ball of light. I'd like you to imagine now that it grows a little bit larger, and what you notice is that it is in the center of all of us. That we are like spokes of a wheel connected to it, wherever we are. This beam of light that comes from our heart into that big ball of light, and as it pulsates, our heartbeat pulsates with it. Watch as it fills up and condenses. Just feel that heartbeat of the earth. Notice how your breath is keyed to that heartbeat. Notice how that pulsating, that throbbing of that light automatically soothes our spirit and centers us in a feeling of peace. This is the peace of God. The one power in the universe that is peace. The peace of God. As you focus your attention on that pulsating and that throbbing light, I would like you to imagine that the ball of light now encompasses all of us. There's no longer a beam from our heart to the light, but instead we are encompassed in it. All of us as one. One heart beating. One life living. One love loving. Just the one. Imagine now that it expands one more time, and you begin to notice that there are no more houses in the neighborhood. There's just this big ball of light, and all else is just encompassed by that one big ball of light. Let it grow again And notice that there are no towns or cities any longer. There's no boundaries to God. This ball of light just pulsates and grows again to encompass the state that we're in, or the province. There are no more individual states. There's only one country. As it grows and grows and grows, there are no more countries. There's only the planet Earth. And as it grows again, there are no more individual planets. There is only this one big ball of light. One light, one love, one power. In this universe. So this unconditional love that we are experiencing as a result of this knowingness that all there is this one big ball of light that is God within us and around us and through us. We recognize that there is a healing balm in this light, and we offer it now to anyone who needs it. To the Israelites, to the Palestinians, to the Ukrainians, to the Russians. All people, animals, anyone who needs this healing balm right now, we offer it. Reach in and take as much of the healing balm as you need for yourself as well. Just let it flow through you, healing any discord of any kind. As you feel it flooding through you, you feel this immense sense of peace and love fill your soul. Suddenly the beam appears again and you realize you can travel back to the room that you're sitting in via this beam. Keeping your eyes closed, staying in this state of unconditional love, be back in your room. Knowing you can return to that big ball of light anytime you wish. Stay here present in this very moment. And ask yourself this very important question. What is God's vision for my life in this fourth quarter of 2023? Remember, however that information comes, just let it be there, honor it, respect it. What is God's vision for my life in these last 3 months of 2023? Let it just come. Now, taking that information and putting it in your spiritual pocket so that we can retrieve it later, ask yourself this very important question. What must I become in order to be a vessel through which God's vision will manifest? What spiritual principle must I embody in order to be that vessel? What must I become in order to be the vessel through which God's vision manifests? Taking that information and putting it in your spiritual pocket to be retrieved later. Hi, Kathy, Fred, Marlene, and Joey. We ask ourselves this very crucial question. What must I release in order to become that which allows me to be the perfect vessel through which God's vision manifests? What must I release? Is it a person, a place, a thing, a situation, a way of life, an energy? What must I release? Perhaps you need to forgive someone or something. Perhaps you need to release an attachment of some kind. What must I release in order to become that which allows me to be the vessel through which God's vision manifests? Now, taking that information and putting it in your spiritual pocket to be retrieved later, ask yourself this final question. What else do I need to know about this? Again, maybe you get a feeling, a knowingness, a visual, or a sound, or just a word. What else do I need to know? Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. As you bring your consciousness back into this room, I express gratitude for all that has been revealed in this process. As I turn my awareness to the infinite power, the infinite presence, the infinite life of God, I know that is where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very essence, my very life, my very being. It is who and what I am. And every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that ancient wisdom of the ages that flows through all of us. I know that same truth to be so for this wonderful team that God has provided, for Lynn and for Faith and for Tina and for Elaine and for Karen and for Oz. For we are all one in that infinite power, that infinite presence of God, and that same divine wisdom of the ages leads us and guides us into the right places at the right time, into the things that ought to be done by us. I know that same truth to be so for anyone who's listening to this, either in real time or later on. For there is no place where one leaves off and the other begins. There is only the one power, the one presence, the one life, living through all of us, flowing through all of us. I bless this coming week. I know that as the week progresses, the information that we have gleaned from this process deepens and deepens until we experience it as our truth. We begin to see it manifest clearly before us. I know that every name that is in the ministry of prayer today is experiencing that same thrust of God in their lives. Where whatever condition is being experienced, God is the answer. And so I pull back the veil now, revealing that spiritual truth as a banquet of options. I claim this truth in their name as good and very good, as I give thanks for it. My heart fills with gratitude that this is done, that to be in service in this way. And so I just let it be. And so it is. Amen.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirits on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the hearts, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world.
Hello. Thank you. I was just sending a message to Cindy because we haven't seen her today. So, all right. I always like to check in on Cindy when she's here every week. Right now is our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to express your gratitude for that which you may have experienced in the physical realm already, or that you have created in the mind of God and may not have experienced it in the physical realm just yet. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to go to www.oasiscsl.org. And there, about 2/3 down the page is our offering affirmation. I'll have you say it with me. And then there's a contribute now button at the bottom. So I want to talk just a minute about contribute now, because I want you to be real clear what you're contributing to. We don't have a facility, so there is no rent or utilities or all the usual expenses that you expect when you're in a facility. However, our vision is a healed world, and our mission is healing the world one person at a time. And this is a global vision. So in order to reach the world, in order to reach the global world, we have to do a certain amount of marketing. We have people who are already joining us from the UK or England, from the Netherlands or Holland, and from Germany. We've also had some people from the Philippines and India. And so we'd like to reach out the whole world. And so that is what you're paying. That's what you're contributing to. You're basically paying for us to be able to market to the world to get God's message out there, because we'd like to touch people everywhere. Okay. So go with me right now, whether you're watching this in real time or you're watching it later on. Please go to www.oasiscsl.org and say this offering affirmation with me, please. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive. And so it is. Hit that contribute now button and help us through our mission get to our vision. Thank you. All right. We have this wonderful team of licensed practitioners from coast to coast who serve our church as the healing arm of the church. And we call them the God Squad. I have this like image that happens in my head of the God Squad, you know, marching in and taking, you know, there's just so powerful, right? And so that I love that phrase, the God Squad. So that's what we call them. The first way that they serve is they will do prayer for you every day for a week, our form of prayer, which is spiritual mind treatment. If you have an issue you would like them to pray on. So if you would like some prayer, put in the comment section what you would like prayer for. If not, if you don't want it to be public, you can DM Faith and she'll make sure the God Squad gets it. And they will pray every day on those for a week. That's a loving service that they provide. The second way they serve is by spiritual guidance. So if you would like a session for spiritual guidance, it is by appointment for a fee. And I don't get involved in how they charge. Whether it's, I don't get involved in the price they charge. I don't get involved in the payment method that they use. Some people use Venmo, some people use Cash App, some people use Wise, some people use PayPal, some people use Zelle. But you will look them up on the website so you get an idea of who you want to work with. Then you reach out to them by Facebook, let them know that you would let Facebook message that you would like a session for spiritual guidance. They'll contact you, let you know how to pay for it. And then they'll set an appointment with you. And at your appointed time, they will reach out to you by video chat. It's really powerful to work with a practitioner because when you're in the midst of your own stuff, it's not very easy to see the spiritual truth. So they are trained to see the spiritual truth for you until you can see it for yourself. I still work with practitioner. It is part of my spiritual practice. Because there are a lot of things that I can't pull myself away from personally, that I need someone else to pray for. Okay. So anyway, and then the third way that they serve is the practitioner of the day, which is what Oz is doing today. And that is that they invoke in the beginning, they pray, they benedict us out, and then they're available at the end for the 1 minute miracle, which is not a time for counseling, but it is a time where you can share with Oz today what you need help with, and he will stop, drop, and pray with you right then and there. You reach out to him through video chat. If he doesn't answer right away, it probably means he's on with someone else, so try back later. Okay. All right. Then Brooks and Bailey. I love this company here. Okay. So this is a mala bead necklace made out of amethyst. It's $60. They have all kinds of mala bead necklaces in various gemstones, and they start at $30 and go up from there. So I know you can find one that you like. The reason I like those is the Hindus and the Buddhists. The reason I like mala beads, let's put it that way, is the Hindus and the Buddhists take and move one bead at a time to do their chants. And I always say to do affirmations 100 times a day. So there's 108 beads on a mala bead necklace and 54 on the bracelets. So that way you can do it twice in one day. But it's a way of keeping track that you're doing all of your affirmations the way you need to. You can reach them through Brooks and Bailey 0307 at gmail.com, or they have a Facebook page now, so you can look them up, Brooks and Bailey. All of the proceeds go to Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue, which is a really good, worthy organization. All right, Faith.
All right. Please check out My Metaphysical Shop. The website no longer works. However, Instagram and Facebook do. At the Mystic Brew 303, we have intention jars as well as kits to make them yourself and bath salts that help work on whatever you are currently working on. So please give us a follow so that you get any updates that are coming your way, as well as pricing and all of that is on Facebook, and you can DM us for ordering. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Oop. We're both trying to do the same thing. We also have Angel Renee, who has an Etsy store. She has intention candles and an intention tea bag that you can put into your bath water. She uses a lot of aromatic herbs that help you focus on your intention. Anyway, check these out. And the information's there on the screen as well as in the comments. All right, and now let's see, Elaine Silver. Okay, Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver. Her website, for some reason, she can't update her website to change form of payment. So you go on her website, figure out which CD you want, and then email her. She drives around the country singing, and she always has the CDs in the trunk of her car. So when you reach out to her by email, she'll tell you how you can pay for it, and then she sends them out. And she's very good at sending them out right away. So definitely check her out. Also, Karen Drucker's website does work, and you can get it by the song, the CD, songbook, karaoke files, any way you want to get it. And her form of payment does work on her website. So you can purchase it right then and there. We love to support these two ladies. Like I said, we couldn't do Sunday service music without them. So definitely we love to support those who support us. So definitely check out their websites. Christmas is coming. These are great gifts to give out to people. And then check out our website at www.oasiscsl.org. There you're going to find video sermons from the last 3 years, audio sermons from years prior. We are also on YouTube and SoundCloud under S. Tucker. YouTube has the videos and SoundCloud has the audios. Also on our website, you're going to find pictures of picnics and all kinds of things so you can get to know your spiritual family. So check that out frequently. If you'd like to be part of our online community, by all means, type yes in the comments section, and Faith will add you to our public-facing group page on Facebook. All right. I'm going to move right now to Oz to benedict us.
And I know that, as always, right here, right now, God is where you are. And I know that God moves in and through our lives all around us, creating things always anew as we go. I allow this creative force to work in each of our lives, and I know that it is good and very good, and that a blessing is contained within it. I give thanks for these blessings, and I let them be. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. We love you. Make sure and join us next week at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Well, I guess it doesn't matter if you're dressed as your costume or not. We will be in costume, so there you go. We're going to be celebrating next week is Halloween. So, but make sure and tune in every week at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Until then, stay safe. We love you. Bye.